Hello and welcome to this demo video of the latest features to DojoDesk. So this is the progress tracker, so you can select the martial art here at the top. You can select which grade system, so I have adults, I have juniors, and I have kids, like a younger, like a Team Tigers kind of syllabus as well. So you select them from there, you select which grading, but it does default to the first grading for that grading system. It will show a list of your students, what their current grade is, their age, whether they've met the lesson criteria for that grade, whether they're eligible to grades. That also includes stuff like time in grades. So sometimes, obviously, you might have 3 months, you might have 6 months. For white belt, maybe you only have a very short minimum requirement. So it will just tell you if they're eligible based on time as well as their lessons. Then these are dynamically driven by your syllabus. So you set up your syllabus in the actual grades themselves. So under martial arts, you can set up your grade systems, and you can set up the grading criteria. You can also set up global criteria, so just under there, so you might want to group these up. So let's say for a pre-grade criteria, you might have one that says patterns, one that says theory, one that says sparring maybe, and so you set up those grading criteria, and they're almost like tip testing in the traditional sense. But you can also, if you wanted to, you can dive a bit deeper. So we set them up on each grade personally here. So because they're white belts or white belt-ish, these are junior grades, these ones, we have one for identification. Now, some of these are acronyms that we've set up for ourselves, so these are unique to us. But there's certain criteria that they have to do as a white belt. And then I've got some here which only show for certain students because they're grade 2 students. They're at the higher grades, they have to do a little bit more. So as you can see, you can go through and just tick a box on when each student has learned each element. So it's a real nice visual check. It's just more detailed than the tip testing method. So it's nice to have a visual glance. Now the reason why we're using this digitally is that this, the line for each student shows on their dashboard. So the parent can come in and on the dashboard they can see what their child or children need to work on before their next grading. So it's a really nice tool. It's a new feature we're just adding. The parent side of it is literally just about to go live. It'll probably be this weekend. So yeah, it's just a nice touch so they can see what's going on. We have a tick box here for whether we've approved them to grade, a tick box for whether they've accepted the grade, and then a manual tick box for whether they've paid in time. We'll probably link that because here personally at Unity, we send their invoice for grading through this system as well. It's in the product section. We have grading fees set up in there, so we can, with one click, we can send out these invoices. So in time, we can set that so it manually does the box, and that's why actually we have an actions column, because we will actually have a button here, so you can just send invite to grade. There'll be a button that you can send the invoice to grade. That might be the same one if you wanted. And then there will be some other ones as well. But yeah, it's just a nice touch, I think, to get started. I'm now going to show you our new grading manager. So this is going to be used this weekend. I have a grading this weekend, and it will be used for that. So I'm just going to switch into the grading manager. So let's just bring it up here. So we go to Progress Tracker, and we have the new grading manager. Now this uses the same data. So again, it defaults to the closest grading date. So I have one in a couple of days. And the last grade system that I looked at, which was juniors. So you can actually show multiple at the same time. So if I ticked the adults as well and then hit filter, which I'm not going to do just yet, but if I did that, it would also show me on one screen. I would see the juniors, and then just below it, I would see the adults. So if you did grade them all at the same time, you could have them all on screen at the same time. I'm not going to do that for the purpose of this, because I personally will have them in separate gradings. So from here, I can, if I wanted to, click that button and it will get rid of the menu. We actually have a full screen button coming very soon, so that'll be a nice touch. It is set up to be iPad friendly. We use iPads for our grading, so it's all optimized for iPads, and you can sideways scroll. I'm going to have to just move the page down a little bit just to, actually I'll leave it there actually. Okay, so from here, again, we've got the name. We don't put age on here. We can do if people request it. We can see their current grade, and then for each one of those criteria. Now, this is different criteria than what we had, or can be different criteria than what we had for the progress map tracker. So progress tracker is your pre-grading. Like, what do they have to do and show you before you invite them to grade? And then this is your in-grading. Now, there's a couple of really cool tools coming real soon. So soon you'll be able to expand some of these. So you'll be able to add a list to some of these. So line work is the prime example. So line work will be lit up, and you'll be able to, with one click, bring up a list of line work that you want each student to do. That will be dynamic as well. So it will look at who's in your grading, and it will take the line work from your syllabus. So there'll be a new section called line work. And you'll be able to, it will instantly build out a list of what line work you have to call, so you'll know that you have to use certain techniques. So some students will be doing more than others, but it will try and organize that for you so nothing gets missed, and you don't have to think on the feet. So as you can see, some of them are grayed out for certain grades. So this one here, they only have to do the guard double punch, whereas these guys have to do the guard snap kick double punch. And so on and so forth. Here we have sit and stance punch, and then sit and stance double punch. So we've got a few that might be a bit different. We've got some students here that do DojoDesk number 2 and Sajamaki, for instance, whereas some that don't, depending on their grade. So what you would do during the grading is on each student, you would mark them. I'm just going to use this one here as an example. So you would just mark them out of 10. You'll also remember, hopefully, that during the setup of your syllabus, you defined how many red scores they were allowed, how many orange scores, and how many green scores. And that will actually generate, so it will look at the scores you pick here, and it will decide if or recommend whether that student passes or fails based on what you set up in your syllabus. So you're in control of how strict you want your school to be. So let's say we pick a 10 on here. You may have noticed that every few seconds or so, it will come up in the top right, and it says that these scores are updated. The reason why it's doing that quite frequently, so as soon as I click this button, click this, it saves. So you see there was a little loading widget, and then it's gone. That means it's saved, but then it comes up here in the top right saying the scores are updated. That's not my scores coming from this machine to the cloud. That's done almost instantly. So if you watch it just next to it real quickly, it's pretty much instant. That's actually pulling scores from other people, because you might have more than one person examining. And so if there is more than one, then it will actually give you a breakdown underneath each one of what each other examiner has scored, so that you can maybe highlight, like you might mark someone 10 out of 10 for something, let's say DojoDesk number 2. You might mark them 10 out of 10, but you'll see that one of the other examiners has marked them 1 out of 10 or 0 out of 10, and so it prompts a conversation to say like, oh, what did I miss? so hopefully it'll prompt a conversation. So as you go through, maybe you'll score a lower mark here, so you see that one goes into the orange range. Maybe I'll score a red, maybe another red, maybe an orange, green, and so on and so forth. So if I then just move to the right, so you see it's suggesting that this student fails because of they struggled with their press-ups. They basically couldn't do their press-ups. And then their rising kicks they struggle to do as well. So it's suggesting that they fail in this instance. This is based on our strictness ratio. So if I maybe do a slightly higher score, let's maybe put that as like a 5, even a 4, and still probably pass. Yeah. So based on our strictness, they need to work on these, but it's not awful. So they are going to pass. So I do have the final say on it, so I can say whether they've passed or failed. If there was more than one examiner, then when you are in this column here, you'll see what the other examiners are saying too, and whoever's marked as the head examiner, so on each grading you set who the head is, whoever's marked as the head gets an extra column that says final decision, and the head examiner can then pick those scores. Once all of the students are marked, the head examiner will have a button. It's disabled right now because I haven't marked everyone, but I'll have an extra button here that says complete grading, and then that finalizes the results, and if they've passed, it will move them on to their next grade automatically. Again, all the grading results are then shown, or it's optional, but I'm personally sharing it with the parents, so it will show on their dashboard as well. They can see their previous grading results. It's quite nice, I think, because then you can look back at your previous grading and see what you scored quite low on, and then work a bit harder and make sure that you're better in your next grading. It's also handy for examiners to be able to look back at the previous grading, so just by changing the date here, they'll be able to look back at previous grading and see what that student scored on that previous grading. There will be some more features coming soon. As I said, the line work one is the next one to be added, so I'll share that with you as soon as it's ready.